Game started.
Anton Strad 2. Okay, well, let's see. Let's try e4. Played a couple of d4 games recently. Okay, he moved. Let's see, we got a Sicilian here. I'll go for the open Sicilian. And let's see what we get. This is either... Okay, that's a Najdorf. Let's play the old main line with the bishop g5. See if we get a poison pawn. Let's see. That is, I think, f4 is the normal move here. So this is not going to be a poison pawn. I think the poison pawn is with the the queen coming out. So not a bad move, though. It puts the knight here. The queen normally often goes to f3 in this opening to set up some kind of discovered attack on this diagonal. So that's not on with the knight over here. And also, bishop wants to go to d3 a lot of times, and with the knight attacking my knight, the bishop is just hanging there on d3. So I'm not inclined to castle queenside here. He's opened up the b file, or I've helped him to open up the b file by trading knights. So I'm going to castle a kingside and go for an attack over here. And yeah, I'm still going to push my pawns forward on the king side. The bishop is in position to support the push from f4 to f5, and put the rook behind it too, and then just need to get the knight over. So I have to be careful here in case there's a discovered attack by the knight. So like knight takes, bishop takes bishop, knight takes knight, attacking my queen. I take his queen, he takes my queen. And then if I have a good move with the bishop, let's just get out of it. I don't know if that could be played or not, but I don't want to worry about it right now. Oh, he went there. I probably should have stopped that because I want a castle, and the queen there unfortunately stops me from castling.
Check.
Well, if the queens come off, then I don't have to worry about castling. And I don't mind playing this position with the queens off. My bishops look pretty good to me. So if I take the queen, he takes with the knight. It's hitting the g2 pawn. The c2 pawn is defended, so I can play king to f2, and then the knight can go back to g4. So it's not like I'm trapping the knight or anything, but I can keep harassing the knight. So I don't know. Got my king forward. Let's move my rooks to the center. I'm not sure where the action will proceed. This is now a queenless middle game or something like that. Pawn to e5 is possible. Hits his knight. If his knight moves, I take, and it leaves him with a weak c pawn. And if he takes, I take, and then the knight moves, and once again, yeah, it looks like it's a way of isolating his c pawn, although it does open up a diagonal onto my king, so it's not entirely clear. I guess knight to d5 is a good reply there. So I don't want to trade knights. I want to bring my knight around this way, perhaps. The knight could go to d6 even. And I want to play c4 here and kick that knight again. But if he goes knight to b4, I have to have a place for my bishop. I might take a few moves here and get my king to a little safer square. There's still a lot of force on the board. It's not late enough in the game where the king can really help a whole lot. It's a good thing this knight on e4 is protecting the c5 square. Otherwise, this bishop c5 move would be a little bit embarrassing. It would keep my king from retreating. Because I'm thinking of playing king to f2 to g1 probably. Then I'll get my other rook in the center, and we will continue the game. Still haven't. So rook to d1, pawn to c4, knight moves, then this bishop has to go somewhere because it could be under attack from the rook and possibly also the knight. And the knight's hitting, the knight goes to b4, it also hits a2. Okay, so maybe it's just not yet a good move. Maybe I should get the bishop out of the way first. No, he plays that first. Okay, so that attacks c2 if I move the bishop. That's annoying. Okay, how about knight to d6 here? Bishop takes, pawn takes. Then at least I have another square for my bishop to move to. I could play bishop to bishop to e4 maybe. And he can take my bishop. So what do we got here? We've got opposite colored bishops. Okay. Not a recipe for a great game necessarily, but okay, let's go after. He created a weak pawn by pushing it, but it opened up a line for his bishop, so I understand why he did that. Aha, okay, so he's just activating his piece, but he left this pawn to hang. And now I can get my rook to the 7th even. Might be good. So rook here and bishop to bishop to e5. So with opposite colored bishops, it's only drawish if it's in the endgame. If we're in a portion of the game where there's still activity, this can be quite good. So he walked into a skewer here. So is this winning material perhaps? Anyway, yeah, so I was thinking of coordinating the rook and the bishop on the g7 square. But he chased me off of this idea. I was going to play the rook to the bishop. I was going to play the bishop to e5 to coordinate on g2. But on this diagonal, I can also put my bishop to d4 to attack g2 as well. But I guess if I'm probably just going to grab the exchange here and just be two rooks against a rook and a bishop. Aha. Well, I don't think. Well, I guess I should take that. Because he could push it forward with check, forking my king and my rook, so I didn't have time to really grab his bishop there. Grab his rook, I mean. So now I should just grab a rook, right? Yeah, because if I attack on g2, he can just defend it, and there's not a problem. So let's just do this. And now he's got an attack. On this guy. I'm just wondering, maybe I should let him have it. Because well, you don't want to let your pieces get into too passive a position, but here I will make one defensive move. Actually, that didn't even defend it. He could have just grabbed it, right? Yeah. So let's take the rook and take the pawn, and that's the easiest way to win it, is just get to a pure rook versus bishop endgame. Get the rook off. Get your opponent's extra rook off. Keep the king confined. Notice how my rook is holding his king back out of the game, and then my king is going to come forward. And of course I put my pawns on dark squares, so when he comes here to attack it, I'll push these guys forward. Aha. That was a good move. I'm going to defend that pawn so that I can push A3 and B4. Because otherwise he's just winning a pawn there, and I don't want that. So let's continue to improve my king position here. So that's what the rook does in endgames, is it cuts the king off, so I can keep his king out of these squares. And if he pushes, I push. If he plays bishop here, I might just take it, and then because I get a good position with my king, I think I have a winning king and pawn endgame. Okay, so now what do I need to do? I need to let's put the rook here. I don't want his king coming forward. So my rook is defended here, and he can't attack either of my pawns because his king can't get over to them. Unless there's some trick with, yeah, there's probably some trick with him moving his pawn forward here, right? So I should just consider the exchange here. So if rook takes, push the pawn, king here, pawn queens, right? So rook takes, pawn takes, and it's my move. I push the pawn, he goes after it. I put my king here, he takes my pawn, I take his pawn, he steps here, I step to the side. Yeah, this is a winning
check
king and pawn endgame. So push the pawn, king moves, king takes, and then stepping to the side to create a path for the pawn. Then stepping in front like this. So when you're on the 6th rank in front of the king, this is just winning. It's easiest when you have the opposition, because then you just keep going to the opposite side of wherever your opponent's king goes, and now this path is prepared all the way through, so there's no stopping the pawn. Okay, well, that's it. I'm going to upload this and do a postmortem as usual. See you guys later. Bye.